What if one ordinary night in Toronto suddenly became a memory that thousands of ARMY would never forget? What if, somewhere between the lights, the screams, the music, and the thousands of purple lights filling the venue, something happened that nobody was expecting? And what if the most emotional moment of the night was not announced in advance? Tonight, we are taking you back to a moment that has been quietly making its way across the ARMY community. A moment that may look simple when you first see it, but becomes much more emotional when you understand the atmosphere surrounding it. Because sometimes, the biggest concert stories do not begin with a spectacular announcement. They begin with silence. They begin with anticipation. They begin with thousands of people waiting for the lights to change. And they begin with one question that every fan has asked at least once before entering a BTS concert. What will happen tonight? For ARMY in Toronto, that question carried a very special weight. A concert is never just a concert for someone who has spent years following BTS. It can be the reward for years of waiting. It can be the fulfillment of a dream. It can be a reunion with music that has been part of someone's life through good days and difficult ones. And sometimes, it can be something even more personal. A chance to stand in the same place, at the same time, with thousands of other people who understand exactly why a particular song, a particular voice, or even a particular gesture can mean so much. Think about that for a moment. Imagine arriving at the venue long before the show begins. You see fans wearing purple. You hear conversations happening in different languages. Some people are carrying banners. Some are holding light sticks. Some are taking photographs because they already know that they want to remember every detail of the day. And somewhere among that crowd are people who have been waiting for this moment for months, perhaps even years. There are younger fans experiencing a BTS concert for the first time. There are longtime ARMYs who have followed the group through different eras. And there are older fans who may have discovered BTS at a completely different stage of their lives, only to realize that the music became something deeply meaningful to them. Different generations, different countries, different life stories, but one shared emotional language: music. That is what makes a BTS concert so fascinating. You can walk into the venue as thousands of individual people, but when the lights go down, everyone suddenly understands the same thing. Something is about to happen. The atmosphere changes almost immediately. The conversations become quieter. The anticipation grows. People lift their phones. Light sticks begin to glow. The crowd starts reacting even before the performer appears. And for a few seconds, there is that strange feeling that exists only before a major performance. Nobody knows exactly what is coming. And that uncertainty is part of the excitement. Because once the show begins, everything changes. The audience becomes louder. The performers take over the stage. Every movement is watched. Every expression is noticed. Every song can become a memory. But there is something interesting about ARMY. They do not only watch the big moments. They notice the small ones. A change in expression. A quick smile. A gesture toward the audience. A moment when a member pauses. A different arrangement of a familiar song. Sometimes, a detail that lasts only a few seconds becomes the detail everyone talks about afterward. And that is where tonight's story becomes particularly interesting. Because there was apparently a moment in Toronto that caught the attention of fans not because it was necessarily the loudest moment of the evening, but because of what it made people feel. At first, perhaps it looked like nothing unusual. Just another moment on stage. Another performance. Another song. Another night. But then fans began to notice something. And once they noticed it, they could not stop talking about it. This is how viral concert moments are often born. One person notices something. They record it. They share it. Another person sees the video. Then another. Soon, people begin asking questions. Did you notice that? Was that really what I think it was? Why did he choose that? Was this planned? And suddenly, a few seconds of footage become a conversation across social media. But before we reveal exactly what happened, there is something we need to understand about why certain moments affect ARMY so deeply. It is not always about the celebrity standing on the stage. Sometimes it is about the person watching from the audience. Because every fan brings their own story into a concert. One person may have discovered BTS during a difficult period. Another may have found their music during a lonely night. Someone else may have listened to BTS while studying, working, raising a family, traveling, or simply trying to get through an exhausting day. That is why music can become much more than entertainment. It becomes part of someone's personal history. A song can remind you of a particular year, a particular person, a particular place, a difficult moment, or even a version of yourself that no longer exists. And when that song unexpectedly returns years later, something strange happens. The memory returns with it. Suddenly, you are not simply listening. You are remembering. This is particularly true for BTS songs that carry themes of hope, loneliness, uncertainty, and starting again. Over the years, BTS has created music that often speaks directly to emotions that people find difficult to express. The feeling of being tired, the fear of not being good enough, the desire to find happiness, the hope that tomorrow will be better, and the quiet belief that even after a difficult day, there is still a reason to continue. Those themes have connected with ARMY across generations. And perhaps that is why some songs never really become old. They simply change meaning as we change. A song you heard at 20 may sound completely different when you hear it at 30. A song that comforted you during one difficult year may suddenly feel even more meaningful years later. Because you are no longer the same person. Your life has changed. Your experiences have changed. But the song is still there, waiting. And Toronto may have provided one of those unexpected moments when an old memory suddenly came alive again. But there is another layer to this story. The person at the center of the moment was not simply any performer. It was Jimin. And anyone who has watched Jimin perform knows that his stage presence can create a very particular kind of emotional connection. He can be energetic. He can be playful. He can be powerful. But he can also create quieter moments that feel surprisingly intimate despite thousands of people standing in front of him. That contrast is one of the reasons fans pay such close attention to his performances. Sometimes the most memorable Jimin moments are not necessarily the moments when he is doing the biggest choreography. Sometimes it is the smallest expression. The way he looks toward the crowd. The way he delivers a line. The way he pauses between moments. Or the way a familiar song suddenly sounds different when performed in front of thousands of people. And that brings us to the mystery. Because according to a fan-shared video from Toronto, something unexpected happened involving Jimin, and a song that holds a very special place in BTS history. The video began circulating with an emotional caption. Fans immediately recognized the song. People were not simply watching Jimin anymore. They were remembering. They were connecting the moment to their own experiences. They were asking why this particular song appeared. And they were wondering whether the moment had been planned as something special for the Toronto audience. But here is where we need to slow down. Because when a fan video goes viral, emotion can move faster than facts. A caption can make a moment sound more certain than the original footage actually proves. A fan interpretation can quickly become another person's assumption. And before long, speculation can begin to sound like confirmation. So tonight, we are going to do something different. We are going to enjoy the emotion of the moment, while still separating what is visible from what remains unconfirmed. Because there is nothing wrong with being emotional. There is nothing wrong with feeling touched. There is nothing wrong with replaying a beautiful moment again and again. But there is value in knowing exactly what we are looking at. And that makes the story even more interesting. Because when you remove the speculation, the emotional core of the moment still remains. A performer, an audience, a familiar song, and thousands of people suddenly feeling something together. Now here is the question. What was that song? Why did ARMY react so emotionally? And now we finally arrive at the moment that had ARMY talking. The song connected to the Toronto footage was 0 o'clock, one of those BTS songs that carries a message far beyond its melody. At its heart, the song speaks about difficult days, emotional exhaustion, and the hope that comes when one day finally ends and another begins. That is why the reaction from fans was so emotional. For some ARMY, hearing Jimin connected with this song was like opening an old memory. It reminded them of nights when BTS music helped them get through difficult moments. It reminded them that even after the worst day, tomorrow can still arrive. And perhaps that is what made the Toronto moment feel so special. It was not necessarily about creating the biggest spectacle. It was about emotion. A familiar song suddenly appearing in a live setting, with thousands of fans sharing the same atmosphere, can create a feeling that cannot easily be recreated. But we should also remember that the short fan-recorded clip does not provide every detail about the circumstances surrounding the performance. So while fans may interpret it as a surprise moment, we should be careful not to present every fan theory as confirmed information. What we can appreciate is the reaction. ARMY heard something familiar. They remembered something meaningful. And for a brief moment, a concert became something deeply personal. Maybe that is the real magic of music. One song can mean millions of different things to millions of people. For one person, it can represent a difficult year. For another, a friendship. For someone else, a moment when they needed hope. And for the fans in Toronto, perhaps 0 o'clock became one more memory attached to a night they will never forget. So, what do you think about this emotional Jimin moment in Toronto? Did 0 o'clock bring back a special memory for you? Tell us in the comments what BTS song has helped you through a difficult day. Your story might even become someone else's reminder that they are not alone. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next BTS and Jimin updates. Because sometimes, the most unforgettable moments are not the ones we planned. They are the ones that simply happen and stay with us forever. Until the next story, take care of yourself, keep your heart warm, and remember one simple message from 0 o'clock. Even after the hardest day, tomorrow can still begin again.